Good afternoon from the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your forecaster, Jeff Monk, looking at the planning outlook on the mountains for the coming week or so. The weather pattern is going to change. Through this week and early next week, there's going to be a thaw of where there is lying snow on the mountains, particularly so across northern Britain, the Scottish Highlands. There's a lot still lying, but almost daily it will be thawing through the coming 6 or 7 days. There will be rain, not a great deal in total, and it will be focused on the western northwest highlands and extensive low cloud. Only later next week will there be three thaw cycles of any length of time. In other words, ahead of then, just now and again, temporarily, on the higher summits, mainly the Scottish Highlands, the temperature will drop below freezing point. But as I say, substantially over the next week, it will be, if you like, a warmer, mild period for February. So I've got a few charts. In fact, in some ways, over the next week, the pattern isn't that absolutely certain. There are differences between the models, but there are certainties, if you like, high probabilities, and that is that we're going to see westerly winds. Starting very briefly on Thursday, we'll have a deep low just off northeast Scotland, and that temporarily will introduce one of these colder periods of weather, short periods of weather where the temperature on the Scottish Highlands above about 900 or 1,000 metres will drop below freezing point, but it won't last. Jumping to the weekend, where I want to start in a little bit more detail, on Saturday, isobars across the country running in from west to east, a bit of a complicated pattern. There may even be something of a small low near the Irish Sea, but generally speaking, extensive low cloud and rain will be spreading in from the west, the poorer conditions focused on western mountains. Jumping on to Sunday, it looks similar, still the isobars coming in from the west, westerly winds blowing quite blustery in northern areas, the Scottish Highlands in particular, less windy further south. Again, the air fairly humid, which means a lot of low cloud shrouding western mountains almost permanently. By Monday, the wind a little bit stronger. We may have gale force winds on the highest summits. And then as we go further into the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, again, widespread upland gales. Some forecast models around Tuesday night have a deep low passing just to the north of Scotland and really quite a squeeze in the isobars at that time, possibly even up to storm force for winds on the higher areas. So Tuesday, Wednesday looked like the wettest period, but again, as I said earlier, not absolutely certain as to the particular time that the strongest winds will come through. Later next week, still windy, particularly for Scottish Highlands, just a hint of northwesterly, which means there'll be 1 or 2 periods of colder air, perhaps lasting 24-48 hours, and fresh snow will have time to settle on the higher areas, mainly Scotland. I think it's really only going to be high summits in England and Wales that temporarily see fresh snow. So I'm going to finish off with the freezing levels, a couple of freezing levels. This is on Thursday, and broadly it's the blues, the light blues, that we're looking for in terms of snow lying and not thawing over the mountains. These colours represented about 1,000 or 1,100 metres, and you'll see temporarily they are down at that sort of height on Thursday. But these, if you like, warmer colours, these freezing levels which are way above the summits, are sort of coming back in. So very mild on Friday. By Saturday again, continuous thaw of snow, but a pool of colder air coming into Scotland as the day goes on. But by Sunday, this is Sunday morning probably, I suspect it might only be a dawn picture. For freezing levels, 1,100 metres out into the North Sea already, and this very warm air coming back in. That warm air will really be full of very low cloud out over the sea, and as soon as it hits western mountains, we'll be looking at frequently over the next week the cloud down at a few hundred metres above sea level on eastern mountains, East Wales, probably the north east Eastern Pennines, particularly the Northern Pennines, Eastern Mountains in Scotland, there will be breaks up to 800, 1,000 metres from time to time, so the summits here should clear, at least intermittently. But I do think over the next week, overall, there will be significant very low cloud. As far as total rainfall is concerned, it will be perhaps 100 millimetres, 4 or 5 inches over the western mountains of the Northwest Highlands and the West Highlands. But elsewhere, although it is likely to rain at some stage almost every day, total rainfall will not be great. Generally speaking, less than 25 or 30 millimetres over a week or so. So despite the dull, often damp conditions, do enjoy your time over the next week on the mountains.